Hello everyone, and welcome back to Divinity Original Sin. So, just before I started, sadly I didn't get it on camera, but the cheese merchant said, no one has a man who has as many friends as a man who has many cheeses. So, there is that to consider. Now let's go in here and talk to Unsinkable Sam.
Greetings!
Meow. Never saw you in King Crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. So, who are you? I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the King Crab's foremost patron ever since. So tell me about that ship. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable though. We hit the cliffs right beneath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. And this will be interconnected to stuff we get to later. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor, but I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. So you were the only survivor? So I was, but friends I had, they drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley, and there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty, most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm, but I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard there's no one like Maxine, which is the cat of the mayor, if you remember. No, wait. Nice rhetoric skills there. So about Maxine. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes on her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me, I know she does, but when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I've serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts, but for some reason she's not to be swayed. Okay, I'll take my leave then.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll see what that's all about eventually, I guess. Now what we'll just do is enter the crime scene, which we are now allowed to do. The crime scene is in here. Stop right there. Until you've received the captain's permission to enter, this door doesn't exist. Got it? I've spoken to Aureus. Let me inside, please. Not exactly the friendliest bloke, the captain, is he? Well, your reward for getting your ear chewed off is a waltz through the town's finest magical murder scene. Enjoy! Well, yay. Let's see what happens. Oh dear! Lightning! We don't know what just happened. Something. We apparently get a level change. This will take a time, and it's loading Homestead. And I've not really gone far in this particular quest.
Well, hello there.
So, here we have Zigzags. Which, don't ask me to pronounce that name very often. By the quill that lasts a billion words, what's this? What are you doing here? Where the very stars come to die? Who are you, and where have you come from? Again, by the way, brilliant music. We are source hunters from the realm of Rivalhall. Are you indeed? Then let me tell you, hunters of the source, that you have strayed far, far from home. Far in space and far in time. How, I wonder? All we did was approach a strange stone, which, by the way, I don't... it happened so fast. Even the first time I played through this, I didn't see a stone. Maybe in the video, if you go back and look at that scene, you might see a stone. I don't know. Anyway, it shone with a blinding light and then whirled us away. A stone, you say? Could it be? Could I have been right all along? This stone, what was it? Was it bright and beauteous as a diamond, but did it glow softly deep down in its heart, as if a soul dwelt within? I'd say that's a fairly accurate description. Starstone, it must be. For centuries it slept, this bounty of the heavens, but now it is waking and it has brought its awakeners here. All was dark and all was still, as it always has been and always would be, or so I thought, so I feared. But then the runes among me began to shimmer, shine and dance like fair-winged fairies roused from slumber. Starstone, could it be the key after all, and you its wielder? Things of light to unlock things of darkness, lead us into realms forbidden where salvation may yet be found. It would be great if you'd start making sense right about now. Oh, I have been making sense all along, my friend, though I didn't even see it. See, see, that is what you must do. Approach the looking lens and behold, if you dare, the darkness before which even the cosmic shadows flee in terror.
You know, I think that imp may be quite mad.
Then we had better appease him and have a look through the looking lens.
Yes, I would assume so. There's a bunch of stuff here. I just don't know if any of it is really relevant. I mean, bottles of beer and wine. We can sort of sell these. I mean, they don't weigh much. I think I just picked up a random plate. But what we really should do is look through this gigantic telescope. Well, gigantic by the standards of sort of medieval cultures, I guess. By modern standards, average size. Small telescope. And this is what we see. The portal has become alive, has become active. Fantastic, astounding, onward we should go. Okay, let's talk to Zigzags.
Well, hello there.
You looked through the looking lens, you saw. Terrifying, isn't it? So much to see, so much to discover, and so little time to do it in. I'm not a child imp, the dark doesn't scare me. Oh, how brave you are, how bold and hardy. Too bad it won't help you even a little bit when the seemingly inevitable end comes to swallow you whole. This maw of darkness, it consumes time itself. I think it's meant to be a black hole, though it really didn't look like one, because black holes don't look like anything. Yes, Starstone Starter, you have just witnessed the end of all, the maelstrom that like a carrion eater is devouring the carcass of creation. Space and time have lost all meaning, for they are falling prey to the void, and in the void there is no existence. A bleak prospect indeed, and yet you do not seem to despair. I did despair, for the longest of times I did. Eons upon eons I have travelled through the reaches of time, through the rifts that lead to worlds unimaginable, hoping to find something, anything that could put a stop to the maelstrom. That is how I found this place, and I knew that it was here that the answer must be hidden. It teems with mystery undiscovered, with power that is limitless, yet out of reach, until you came along, the ones who can tame Starstone. You have drowned my despair, you whom I believe can end the end of time. And this reminds me of a great deal of Chrono Trigger, where you get to that end of time place where there's the random old man and the portals to other places and all that. It's not similar in a game mechanic sort of way, but it still reminds me of that quite a lot. Okay, I think it is time you tell me who you are, Sir Imp. But of course, I am Zigzags, the Imp Historian, tasked by the gods to write the history of all creation. Faithfully I've fulfilled my task, and I would have done so perpetually, until one day I saw that time will end. Impossible, I thought, inconceivable, for the gods had told me that their work was infinite both in date and in distance. But my eyes did not deceive me when the maelstrom I beheld. Time would end, I would end, all would end. No, I cried, never, I shall save time if it's the last thing I do. So far my efforts have been in vain, but you, as the saying goes, are the hope that springs eternal. Starstones, the end of time, us source hunters, how about you connect the dots for me? To claim I can piece the puzzle together would, at this stage, be premature and insincere. But let me summarize the facts as clearly as I can see them. I'll try to speak more clearly. Sorry. Here we are in a fragmented sliver of space, which happens to be the only spot in all the universe where one might directly observe the void maelstrom. A portal flanks the looking lens, but until now it was inert. The runestones that adorn it are special, which lead me to believe they were somehow linked to a starstone. Starstone, though, has always remained as useless as a pebble. Dead rock of no consequence. Its secrets remained off limits to me. You, however, make the souls inside the starstones spring to life, and thereby are you activating portals to new, previously forbidden areas in this strange dimension. I do not know where they lead, but I am convinced they will steer towards solution, to the continuance of time. Okay, so how did you get here? What is here? Ah, well you see, on one of my travels I found a runestone in the deep demonic dungeons that hide from daylight far beneath the surface of horror-haunted Nemesis, a plane of frightful perversions. I read the rune and it brought me here, the sad little realm that is no more than a morsel at the edge of the all-consuming abyss. Ever since it has been a place where I have found shelter, a home even, though it shares its dominion with that terror of terrors that is the void. So there you have it, the homestead on the shelter plain at the end of time. Welcome be, my friend, welcome be. I know I keep going on about this, but the writing is so good. Splendid idea. Later we can talk till the cows come home, but right now we should investigate the portal. Where oh where does it lead, I wonder?
So long! You first, you first! Oh, what strange new world is this? Let us explore.
Where on the world are we?
We are not on the world at all.
Indeed so, we're in a different dimension of sorts.
This one has a stern look about him, doesn't he? A smile doesn't cost you anything, you know.
I keep saying it is a really, really great game. Here we have the last chest. I am the last chest. The last chest, the last chest. If you believe yourself worthy of rifling through my ample treasures, I do dare you to prove it. Find my 4 sisters, no more than one in each of the realms of your wide world, and each by each you'll discover how to open me. So, I think this is just a riddle that spans over the entire game. Okay. I've tried every imaginable tongue, from Dwarf Ouijan to Lizardese, but this woman simply won't budge. Maybe she just doesn't like the look of a refined, impish face like mine. Perhaps you'll have better luck, but do please report back what you find, Source Hunter.
So long!
Incidentally, we'll just get a chunk of storyline thrown at us in this section. So again, do not expect much action. And switch back to charm and talk. A young woman is ceaselessly weaving a seemingly boundless tapestry with the delicate grace of a harpist plucking at her instrument strings. She takes no notice of anything but her endless occupation. So, somewhat reminiscent of, I think it's Nordic mythology, but I think it's actually a common theme that has cropped up in various mythologies. That, I think in Nordic there were 3 sisters weaving the tapestry of time and basically cutting the strands of life when you died. Something like that. I'm not an expert, but I think that might be where they take inspiration for this. Who are you, madam? At first it seems this taciturn woman will continue to ignore your presence, but then she suddenly glances at you, and her eyes go wide with surprise and wonder. Her lips move ever so slightly, and when she speaks, her voice appears to reach you from an untold distance, whispers wrestled from oblivion. I am Time, the weaver of time. In the ethereal threads of eternity do I record the deeds of gods and men, of beasts and spectral apparitions. The drift of continents through changing seas, the rise and fall of empires, the shift of every grain of sand on every beach, the fall of every raindrop on every world, the all but imperceptible touch of a lover's hands, this and all I chronicle without fault. Except, it seems, you. Do you mean to tell me that I am not at all featured on the canvas of time? I do not mean to, but it is the only thing I can do. Your absence, it should be an impossibility, but no matter where I look, you cannot be found. I do not know you, which makes you my one perennial imperfection, a blind spot in the eye of time. But perchance I may be cured of this blindness, perchance the blemish may be undone, and time can be redeemed. How can I redeem time if, as you say, I am not even part of it? I think that perhaps you can redeem time because you create time. Indeed, you have set in motion an event I no longer held plausible. Know then that no longer I did weave. I sat here, at the precipice of ages, and watched as the void phrased the fabric of time like a terrified god that fears the offspring of his own creations. But suddenly there was you. You who stirred the life within the stones. These stones, children of stars, they placed new ribbons along my fingers like phantoms out of time. New threads emerged, and I began to weave anew. The Starstone gives me new strands to braid into the tapestry, and because you give Starstone energy, you are creating time. These Starstones, please seek them so that time may yet be mended. Please, for the sake of all that lives and all that loves, seek them so that the void may yet devour itself alone. There are many questions I have for you. Ask and I shall answer, if I can. Who are you really? I am the Weaver of Time, as I have told you, though my existence is one that falls behind and yet far exceeds the verb to be. I am but what I am, and that is task. It is the same for the historian. Chroniclers are both, are we, of the epics of eternity. Perhaps we are one and the same, task multiplied by 2. But who has made us? I do not know. Why have they done so? I do not know. I am the beginning, and I am to be the end. Who shall say? Perhaps I am the first thing in creation. Perhaps I am creation. Perhaps I am the creator. Or maybe it is you who makes dying stars rekindle. Time alone will tell. Why is Starstone so important, and why does it react to me and my colleague alone? Alas, the answers to those questions still elude me. You and Starstone remain the imperfections upon my tapestry, as yet. A hidden answer lies beyond this veil of inscrutability, though, for the link between you and the stones reveals that your destinies are intertwined. Starstones will not lead you to new places of wonder only. No, they will also lead to new knowledge, through the restoration of the threads of old. You called this place the Precipice of Ages. Is that what it is? No more, no less? That in itself is a lot, eh? More than most realms can claim. But no, the Precipice of Ages is not to the be-all and end all of this curious plane. What it is but a seed bereft of sun and water. What it could be? That is what the Starstones will tell. What it is but the end. What it could be is the end of ends. I'm not quite certain if that's how it'll work out, but this is sort of a Bastion-like thing, where I believe as we go further through the game and find more Starstones, portals will open up and we basically expand upon this place, just like in Bastion, as you find these... I don't remember what they were called, these cores, these things, you would add new features to the central hub of the game. I resided in another realm altogether, but ever since the end of time appeared in this deep dark skies, I materialized here, as if forced to watch the one thing that is unwatchable, unendurable, a thankless task that you may yet free me from forever. Why do you talk to me, but not the imp historian? I do not usually talk. Come to think of it, when I addressed you, it was the first time my voice was ever invoked. I have no need of conversation, like I have no need of air, or appetite, or affection. All I need, and all I am, is time, and time is running out, unless you remedy its declivity. You I talk to, for you may prove to become the cure that will heal my slipping soul. Okay, oh, she actually sells stuff. Pixie dust, thread, and needle. Makes sense, right? I mean, weaving time, so, yeah. Okay, I'll take my leave.
The plot thickens.
We should tell the imp the Weaver's tale.
The plot thickens a lot. I think it's just become super solid, actually. Huge... I mean, it's not really a plot dump. It's sort of kept very mysterious, but definitely a lot going on here. Let's see what's in this vase. Nothing. Okay. Now let's talk to the imp historian.
Ah, hello.
So much to see, so much to discover, and so little time to do it in. And I apologize for not doing proper voices. I just can't. I met with the Weaver of Time. She talked to me. Wondrous, oh wondrous indeed. At least she's willing to speak to someone around here. So, what did she say? That I should look for Starstones, for they renew and revitalize time. I knew it. As surely as Zex comes before Zex. I knew it. After doesn't make sense. So it's before. Then that should your mission be, my friend. Oh, I beseech you. Let that be your mission, to trace Starstone, wherever it may lead you. Together we'll try to unfold the depth of this dimension, and thereby try to save all and everything from annihilation. Here, take this runestone and this precious little pyramid. Gifts are they from me to you. The rune will bring you back and forth from Rivellon whenever you decide the moment is opportune, and the pyramid, it has a twin. Find it and you'll see just how handy these twins can be. Okay, I think we've been through the rest of the dialogue, so I'll take my leave. Let's see if he sells anything. He does not.
So long!
You've received a runestone that allows you to quick travel. Use the Homestead travel button on the right side of the screen. Okay, so I think there's nothing else we have currently activated here, so I don't believe there's much to be done. we now have this symbol here at the right side of the screen, and I keep scrolling because I hit a little further than I have to. Clicking on this allows me to travel to any waypoint portal that I've already discovered and to the end of time itself. So the end of time will just take me here, to this portal. You've opened the homestead travel menu, blah blah. And this allows me to get to any portal. I cannot get back to where I started from. So unlike the town portal in games like Torchlight or Diablo, this is a one-way trip. But it still saves a lot of time as we discover more fast-traveling locations. We can use this to get back to town quickly, to get to a bed, for example, to sleep, or to get to a merchant to sell stuff. Very, very useful. But I believe that's everything we can do here. Let's check the journal. Is it under L? Yes. So the Fabulous Five we've seen, Kitty Love we've seen, Mysterious Murder. Supposedly we've seen the crime scene where a puddle of blood stains the floor, but we'll have to inspect that further because we were kind of whisked away to a different world before we could finish. And finally, a Source Hunter's Journey. Yeah. He gave us a personal rift travel device that allows us to return to our homestead on the shelter plane whenever we wish. And this actually, we can use this portal to get back to the observatory as well. Really cool place. And this whole sort of world-devouring thing. Can we look at it again, actually? It somewhat reminds me of the Whispered World. I think it's kind of a similar thing of a world that was slowly being devoured. And that's not what a black hole looks like, just in case that's what they're trying to reference. I mean, I guess they'd have to show something, because an actual black hole cannot be seen, for no light can escape from it. It's the definition of a black hole, actually. It's in an area of space-time where nothing can escape, not even light. Its escape velocity is greater than the speed of light. So technically, if there were something that would be able to travel faster than light, then it could escape, but nothing is able to travel faster than light, hence nothing can escape. Long story anyway. So it doesn't look like anything, because to look like something, light would have to bounce off it, light would have to come out of it, which it can't, so it's literally nothing. It's not even like a really black object. Well, it is. It is the blackest of objects imaginable, so black that it's essentially not visible, which humanity has not yet achieved such a thing. We've gotten something like 99.99% light absorption on a special material, but still, you can still see it, because a small fraction of light still bounces off and you still are aware of something being there. If it absorbed everything, things would be different. So it's not meaningful to say a black hole looks like anything. So I guess they just went with a soul-devouring twister thing that eats up anything, which is fine. Anyway, so pretty heavy. It's sort of confusing and breaks the pace of the game a little bit, where it starts off, you know, investigate that murder and go into the town, talk to people. It's all sort of your typical RPG business in the very beginning. It's small things, you know, start off killing the rats in the dungeon and slaying the level 1 zombies, stuff like that. Zombies aren't level 1, but you get the point. And then all of a sudden, when you're just getting started investigating that murder scene, whoop, it teleports you here, and suddenly, you know what, the world is ending, time's being consumed, and I am the historian of time, and that's the weaver of time, and you're kind of the only ones who can save the universe. Everything. A little bit of a break of pace there. Now we go back to Cyseal, and this whole thing, for a long time, isn't really relevant directly anymore. We don't see the effects of this, because we're in a different place and time, so the sort of soul-devouring end-of-time thing that's going on here, that twister and all that, it's not happened yet. It is in this dimension it's kind of happened, but we are now traveling, I think, through space and time as well, back to Cyseal, which is, say, eons before this dimension, before this moment. So time travel always a little bit of a contradiction involved there, but the events we see here are yet to happen a long time in the future when we get back to Cyseal. Again, sort of a Chrono Trigger-esque thing. Not that I'm trying to compare the games, they're obviously very different games, but sort of that whole time travel thing. Like, Chrono Trigger is just the only time travel game I can really think of that I've actually... Well, I've not played it, but I've seen it, so it's the only one I'm familiar with. Anyway, let's just go back to the North Gate. And loading screens, they're not as long as they are when you first load the game. But they are still fairly long, as you'll see. Might be 20, 30 seconds. Huh, it's actually okay.
Now where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, there it is.
Even the random dialogue is so awesome. Okay, Johan has something to say. Bah! How intolerable it is to think that all the knowledge of the world is being gathered by an imp. A creature that is no more than the result of a demon's bowel movement imbued with the breath of life. And yet I am a tad jealous of that jabbering little jester. To know all, it is a consummation devoutly to be wished. And I don't know. There's a fairly old British TV series called Jeeves and Wooster, in which this phrase, a consummation devoutly to be wished for, is being used. And I'm just wondering if whoever wrote the dialogue knew the series. Because similar to the writing of this, the Jeeves and Wooster thing, especially the way Jeeves talks, it is very verbose and very eloquent, and he uses the right words for many things that other people don't even know exist. So this phrase, I don't know how common or not it is, but I'm just wondering if maybe whoever wrote the dialogue sort of took inspiration from that very verbose and eloquent writing style. There's no such thing as too much knowledge. We are lucky to have found 6 sacks. Agreed. Imp or no, he is the best shot we have to attain that which you so devoutly seem to wish. You'll rue the day you lent your trust to anything that is demon-touched, but this particular specimen delights in scholarship, a quality, I must admit, that highly speaks to its advantage. Let us learn, Hunter, whether you like it or not, and through wisdom grow ever more mighty. Ta-da! Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. And there's actually, there's one thing I wanted to mention before this is over. The file sizes for these, when uploading in 1080p, are insane. Constantly changing backgrounds, all these screen effects. Very, very heavy on the X264 encoder I'm using. X264 encoder I'm using. There we go. Background noise, by the way, really cool. So I guess you can choose underneath this video, and if you want me to answer to your comments, try to make sure that you have answering enabled in your Google Plus settings. I could either keep going as I am, which will mean reasonably infrequent videos. I mean, recording this takes about half an hour, of course, but rendering and uploading takes forever. Second option, less quality. That'll mean I'll render not at quality setting 25, but probably 30, which will cut the file size down, which will allow me to upload slightly more regularly, but it won't look as nice. Third option, I go down to 720p, which means I'll play this in windowed mode, and I'm hoping it'll all be still very readable in 720p. That will make file size smaller as well, but you will no longer have the 1080p option. Let me know which of those you prefer, if any. Otherwise I might just go for 720p. Again, as I said, let me know. And let's return to the crime scene now. So here's a locked chest. I don't believe we can open this at this point. Is there anything else here? There's an inert stone. I think that's the stone that teleported us to the end of time. And we're allowed to take this painting of a woman, so we will. And is there anything else we can really look at? There's a tub. There's puddles of blood. This actually counts as a blood surface. Is there anything else? Maybe something behind this screen. There's a painting of a rooster. Some candles which we can turn off. Very cool. Just the attention to detail in this is pretty nice. Let's see if there's anything. Can take the candle holder and put it back up to somewhere else. And even though we can't carry these in our backpacks, it's still, we can move them about. Like, we can put the mirror over there, for example. And by moving them around, we also make them basically stand upright again. But I don't think there's anything else in here. Let's check the journal. Okay, so nothing else. We have to inspect the body now, but we might as well clean up a little bit, you know. Make everything stand upright again. But we won't get to the old body and murder scene and all that until next time. So please respond which you would like me to do. Less videos, less quality, smaller resolution. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.